It's kind of a new subject than from what we've been doing the last couple of weeks. So first of all, this first one problem, we just have to plot a couple of points. So point N is at -3, 2. So we go in the X direction -3 places, and then in the Y direction up 2 places. So that would be where point N would go. All right, our next one, point P would be a 0, -2. So we go over 0 in the next direction and down -2 in the Y direction. So that would be point P. Okay, our next one, point Q, that would be over 1 in the X direction to the right and then up 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's how we would plot that one. So that's pretty straightforward and easy, right? Okay, we got one more of those triangle problems. We're trying to find out what X equals. And we know that these three angles of a triangle add up to 180. So I'm just going to lay them out here. X plus 53 and X plus 53. In fact, looks to me like both of those angles are going to be the same angle. And I have a prediction of what it's going to be, but I'm not going to say until after we do it. So if we add all of that up, that's 106 plus 80, which is 186. So, and then the x's add up to 2x plus 186. And we know that the three angles of a triangle add up to 180. So we minus 186 from both sides. And we are going to end up with -6. So we have 2x equals -6. And when we divide by 2, we get -3. So x is -3 in this particular case. And that's all there is to a problem like that. I know there was one on our last test that was like similar to this problem. Okay, moving along. So today we're talking about transformations, and there's 3 or 4 different kinds. One is a translation, another is called a rotation, third called a dilation. That's where you make a smaller image bigger or a bigger image smaller. And then the last one is a reflection, where you just flip it over a line. So, first of all, we're going to talk about transformations, performing a specific rule on a figure that will change its size, shape, or position. For a rigid transformation will not change the size or shape of the figure, but a non-rigid transformation will change the size or shape of the figure. So we've got this particular slide on your paper. So the pre-image, the figure, okay, when we talk about this shape right here, it's the figure before. So before the transformation is made, okay? And it's a little tough to write with my mouse here, so forgive my size of letters here. Okay, so that is the original figure, And so that would be the figure up here, A, B, C. And each corner of that figure are labeled with a capital letter, such as A, B, and C. Okay, the figure after a transformation is done is called the image. Not the pre-image, but the image. So after the translation is done, we get what we call the image, or what we were kind of trying to get to, right? So after a transformation is done, label the same points with the same capital letter and a little mark. So you see that little mark right there? So they call that mark prime, but it's a little mark that looks like a quotation, a single quotation mark up where an exponent would go, right? So I'm going to put the word prime, which just means that little single quotation up there where the exponent would go, and that's how you mark that you've moved a transformation from a pre-image to the original image, or to the new image. So, okay, so moving on. Okay, a translation is when you move or slide a figure according to a given rule. So that's the kind of the upper middle part of our page. A rigid transformation, its size and shape stays the same. So on most of ours, that's what will happen. A translation moves every point or a figure the same distance, and the same direction. So distance and the same direction. Otherwise, the figure would become misshapen. It would not look like the original figure, right? Okay, a translation can move the figure up and down or forward and backwards, right? So it can, like we said, it can go forward or backward or up or down, depending on where you need to move it to. And sometimes they're called slide or slides for plurals. So a transformation can also be called, or a translation can be called a slide. All right, so let's take a look at this one. And if you were doing this assignment on Alex, sometimes they actually give you a figure that you can slide using your mouse, but today we're doing it on a worksheet. So we're going to actually have to do some counting and moving things and regraphing this image. So the first one, we're going to move everything to the left 5 according to this. So each point we're going to pick one point and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to go down 2, because it says the y direction, we go down 2. So we do that with literally every point in here. We go left 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then down 2. Then we do the third point. I'm kind of doing them in different colors so you can see them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down 2. So there's the coordinates of my new translated point. And let's go ahead and just plot some little lines on there. So if we plotted the lines, we'd have our new shape, and it would look something like that. So pretty easy process, right? Okay, on this particular one, we're going to translate the image 3 places to the right, according to that x+3 command, and 5 places up. So let's get our marker going again. And let's start with E here. We're going to go over 1, 2, 3, and then up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For F, over 1, 2, 3, and up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then for D, over 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that corner happens to be in the same place where the last one was. Okay, so we're going to grab another line tool and we're going to connect those together. So we're going to have our new translated image is going to look like this. So we went over 3, up 5, and made our new image. So there we go. Okay, let's keep it going here. All right, translate this figure GHIJ according to the rule. So this one says we're going to move over to the right 4 places, but we're not going to change the y values. So that's going to be a pretty easy translation. So we get our marker again. So we're just going to go over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now if we grab our line tool again, plot our new figure. Sometimes when you're drawing these, it's hard to get them, unless you use a ruler, it's hard to get them exactly looking the right way. But this one we just shifted 4 places to the right based on that rule. So finding the coordinate rule for a translation is quite easy. You choose any point, choose one starting point. Okay. Oops. Let me get my marker on there. So I'm just going to say choose one starting point. Say A. And then for the X rule, to figure out what we do for the X, we count how far left or right you go. So you're just going to look and see if you shift to the left or the right, and if you do, how many places you do that to help you find out what the rule is. And so you'll end up with something like A prime equals A plus 5 or A minus 5 or whatever the case may be. And then for the Y rule, you count how far up or down, because you might go down, how far up or down you reach the new point. And so in that case, the X would stay the same, and then the Y value would go up or down, and you would figure out how many places that you would move it. So if you went down, you'd put minus X minus 5 if you went down 5 places. If the object shifted up 3 places, you'd put Y plus 3. Okay, so let's see how this works. So determine the coordinate rule for the translation. So let's just start with an original point, like we said. And, we can start here with U since it's kind of close to the figure. So to get from this U to this U, we had to go to the left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places. So that would mean that X went to the left 5 places. So that's going to be our part of our rule. So, and then as far as the Y value is concerned, in order to get from here down to that level, we had to go down 1, 2, 3. So we went Y or X back 5 and Y down 3 to get to our new image. So let's go back to there. So we're going to have our new rule. It looks something like this: X, comma Y, with a little arrow pointing to the right. X minus 5, comma, X minus 3. That's how you describe the rule that took place to translate your object where it went to. All right, determine the coordinate rule for this one. So let's look at this one. So our original X value goes to the right, so we have to go over 1, 2, 3, 4 to get lined up with our new G value. So X plus 4. And then for up and down, we go up 2 to get to our new G value. So that means that in the Y direction, we're going up by 2. So our new rule is X plus 4, Y plus 2, which will get us to our new location, right? So we started out with our original X, Y values. And then the rule for the translation is this rule right here. Okay, we got one more to do here. Now you notice it just kind of shifts to the right if you look at it. So if you think about it, the E value goes 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right. So does the F value. How about D? 1, 2, 3, 4. So all of the X values shift to the right 4 places. So our new rule is going to be X plus 4. But as far as the Y values, they don't change. So we'll just leave Y on the end like that. And that's the coordinate rule that we have here. So we started with an original set of X and Y's. And we moved over 4 to the right, and that's where our new image was. And there we go. So you're going to just practice doing some of these things on what we call the translations worksheet. I'll hand that out to you, or you can print it off. If you're watching this from home, it should be on our Today button somewhere where you can print it off. All right, thank you very much.